Let's face it, the economy is kind of crazy right now. I mean, you're feeling the pinch and you see others struggling too, and you're doing everything that you can to save money, right? I mean, you're budgeting, scrimping, and penny pinching like a boss. So why are so many people in debt? Well, inflation and rising interest rates aren't exactly helping, and a lot of folks are turning to credit cards just to get by. So if you're feeling the squeeze and wondering how to live debt-free in this wild world, you're at the right place. Hey everybody, welcome to Thrifty Budgeting. So today we're diving into the nitty-gritty of living debt-free. We've got 7 awesome tips that you can start using right now to kick debt to the curb and live your best financial life. But here's the deal. You gotta stick with us until the end of the video to get the full scoop and start taking action. So get ready to say goodbye to debt and hello to financial freedom. So living debt-free means being able to cover your everyday expenses with cold hard cash instead of relying on credit cards that just dig you deeper into debt. Sure, we all know debt is a dirty word, but let's be real. Not all debt's bad. I mean, a mortgage, for example, can actually boost your net worth. But living paycheck to paycheck, that's a recipe for stress. Lots of folks dream of living debt-free, but it can seem like a far-off fantasy for sure sometimes. So you need to know that there are strategies that can help you conquer that debt mountain. And the ultimate goal, well, that's financial freedom, meaning no outstanding debts and just a few bills to pay each month and money left over to save or invest. So the question is, are you ready to take the first steps toward that dream? Well, then let's get started. So the first tip is to assemble a financial roadmap. Okay, let's talk about the secret weapon of debt-free living, budgeting. Yep, budgeting and being debt-free go together like peanut butter and jelly. To really thrive and get ahead in life, you've got to focus on financial freedom, and it all starts with creating a budget. Now, if you've heard about budgeting before but never really gave it a shot, now's the time to change that. You've got to put into practice to see the real benefits though, so why not start today? So consider your budget like your financial GPS. It's going to show you where your money's going and what your priorities are. So write down your income and list all your debts. Then you're going to track spending in a journal or an app and keep your receipts all in one place. Then you want to review your journal daily and do a monthly check-in to see how you're doing. Now the cool thing is there are tons of free budgeting apps and trackers out there for your computer or your phone. And once you've got your budget locked in, you're going to have way better control over your spending habits and you'll see that debt shrinking. Trust me, that's a great feeling. So what's the next step on your debt-free journey? Well, that's tackle your credit card debt. Okay, look, if your credit card debt is causing you stress and anxiety, I want you to make a commitment right now to stop using your credit cards. Seriously, this is so important because the more that you use your credit cards, the deeper into debt you will fall. So by stopping your credit card use, you're essentially cauterizing that big financial vein and halting your debt from growing any further. Now look, whatever you do, don't beat yourself up if you're swimming in credit card debt. Believe me, you're not the only one who has struggled with this. You see, over 1/3 of Americans have credit card debt and carry a balance each month. So credit card debt is the worst type of debt due to the interest that's charged to you. So for example, let's say you had a credit card that charged 16% interest and you had $10,000 charged on it. And if you only made the minimum payment each month, do you know how long it's going to take you to pay that card off? It's going to take you over 10 years to pay it off. And the interest that you would have to pay would be over $14,000. That's just the interest alone. So that's over $24,000 that you would be paying for making minimum payments on your $10,000 credit card. Now, if this sounds like you and bells and sirens are going off right now, don't worry. There are a lot of ways to lower that plastic obligation that you acquired. So here are 4 ways to help you reduce your credit card debt fast and not waste money on interest. So one way is to pay more than the monthly minimum payment, which is kind of what we just talked about. So to lower the interest that you incur, you always want to pay more than just the minimum due each month. That extra that you could put toward your credit card balance is going to help you pay down your bill faster. And the more that you can put on the payment, the better. But even if it's just $5 more, at least that's something. Now, another tactic tactic that you can use to pay down your credit card debt is to use either the snowball or avalanche method. And these are debt payment strategies that work by prioritizing your debt payments and help you live debt-free. So the snowball method is a popular approach to paying off a credit card debt. Now here's how it works. First, you're going to list your credit card balances from smallest to largest. And next, focus on paying off the smallest balance first while making minimum payments on your other cards. And once you've paid off the first card, take the money that you're putting towards that balance and roll it into the payments for the next smallest balance. As you pay off each card, you're going to gain momentum and build confidence like a snowball rolling downhill. This method can be a great way to help keep you motivated and to make steady progress towards paying off your debt. So the second method, the avalanche method, is a smart approach to tackling credit card debt as well. Now this focuses on reducing the amount that you pay in interest. And how that works is you're going to start by organizing your credit card balances from the highest to lowest interest rate. Next, you'll put your payments towards the card with the highest interest rate first while making minimum payments on the other cards. And as soon as you've paid off the card with the highest interest rate, you're going to shift your focus to the card with the next highest interest rate. By targeting the cards with the highest interest rates first, you're going to save more money in the long run and pay off your debt faster. Now, next on our list is try a balance transfer. So this is another option that you might want to try. And this is where you're going to apply for a new credit card that offers a 0% APR balance transfer for a set period of time. And that's usually around 12 to 18 months. You can then transfer your existing balances to the new card and then pay them off interest-free during that time. But listen up, there are a few things you got to keep in mind. You got to make your payments on time, no missing payments, and you got to pay off the full balance before that intro period ends. If you don't, they'll hit you with interest on the remaining balance, which can be a real bummer. But if you can swing it, a balance transfer can be a super effective way to pay off credit card debt quick and easy. I've used a balance transfer more than once, and let me tell you, it's really helped me pay off my cards faster than a cheetah with a rocket strapped to his back. Now, let me say, you can have credit cards and not go into debt. I mean, they are definitely convenient for traveling, renting a car, making hotel reservations, and other things like that. So credit cards are good in that you don't have to carry cash, and they can help you build your credit. You'll have a record of your expenses as well as purchase protection, but you also have that temptation to overspend that can lead to interest charges and sometimes late fees and more. Now, credit cards do have their place, but like anything, there's use and there's abuse. Now, you can change the intention of your credit card from causing debt to causing convenience by being strong and diligent in how you use them. The trick is to pay off your credit card transaction in full each month that you use it. As a side note, we know that paying your credit card balance in full each month is an ideal scenario, but let's be real, it's not always possible. That doesn't mean you have to fall into the debt trap. So stick with the tips that we just covered if you do charge and carry a balance on your credit card. Also, consider only charging what you can afford to pay off each month. So that might mean using your credit card for smaller purchases and paying with cash or debit for bigger ones. Now, another way that you can cherish the peace of a zero balance life is to prioritize and sacrifice. All right, let's talk about prioritizing savings and making some sacrifices. Now, this isn't something you'll learn overnight, but over time, you'll get better at distinguishing between your wants and your needs. Now, trust me, your wallet is going to thank you when you resist the urge to impulse buy and think about long-term value of your purchases. Some folks even make bigger sacrifices to achieve debt-free living. Take living in a rental or an RV until you can afford a mortgage, for example. It might not be glamorous, but it can pay off big time. You might even want to consider getting a roommate or moving in with family to save some cash. And with a solid budget plan, you can score a hefty down payment by scaling back your living standards for just a few years. And when you've got some extra dough, be sure and use it wisely. I mean, make extra payments on your credit cards to chip away at that pesky interest. It might not be the most fun way to spend your money, but it'll pay off in the long run. Believe me. Now remember, small sacrifices now can lead to big financial wins down the road. So another way to lower your overall debt is to generate a positive cash flow. Basically, that means bringing in more money. So a killer way to demolish your debt is to lower lower your expenses and boost your income. Yeah, you might already have a job, but if you are serious about paying off your debt, you might want to consider picking up a part-time gig or a side hustle. There are tons of options out there. You can Uber or Lyft drive, walk dogs, deliver for Amazon, pet setting, or selling stuff online. I mean, the sky's the limit. Think of it like this. It's not a lifetime commitment, just a temporary thing until you've kicked that debt to the curb. And hey, while we're on the subject of jobs, why not ask your boss for a raise? I mean, show them you mean business by taking courses or learning new skills. Maybe even offer to help with office morale. I mean, what have you got to lose? Nothing, that's what. And just imagine the sweet smell of that shrinking credit card debt. Now that smells like victory. Another way to experience the freedom of owing nothing is to get an affordable car. Let's face it, in today's fast-paced world, you have to have a car. It's pretty much a necessity, right? And while brand new cars are super nice, they also lose value faster than you can say 0 to 60. Like we're talking 10% of their value is gone just as soon as you drive the car off the lot. Yes, and up to 20% or more over the first few years. Yikes. Now that's why some folks recommend going for a slightly used car instead. I mean, you can avoid that initial depreciation and still get a reliable ride. So instead of throwing your hard-earned cash at something that loses value in a blink of an eye, you might want to consider a used car or a program car. I mean, there are plenty of dependable secondhand cars out there. You can lower your risk also by asking to take it to your trusted mechanic for a once-over. Plus, buying used is usually cheaper and you'll save some dough on registration fees, taxes, and insurance premiums. More and more people are opting for this route and saving money while living that sweet debt-free life. And while you're in the saving mode, it would be beneficial to you if you build an emergency fund. Alright, I know that might sound a bit backwards, but having an emergency fund is super important. It's like your financial shield against life's unexpected curveballs, like having car repairs, medical bills, vet visits, home repairs, funerals, job loss, and other surprises. Not only will it protect you like your own personal superhero, but it's also a foolproof way to avoid getting into debt again. Plus, just knowing that you got a backup plan can seriously reduce your stress. It's like a financial safety net that'll give you peace of mind and help you stay afloat during those rough patches. Now, to be thrifty and debt-free is to be particular, which leads us to this next tip. Start your nitpicking. Alright, if you're serious about kicking your debt to the curb, you gotta be on top of your game. And that means checking in on your budget daily and giving it a once-over at the end of the month. You'll need to compare your spending with your savings and always be on the lookout for ways to improve. So here's some ideas to help get you started. Swap out name brand stuff for generic brands when you're shopping. Cancel subscriptions that you're not using or forgot about and shop around for cheaper options for ones that you do use. Consider switching phone carriers if you can find a better deal. Cook at home more instead of eating out all the time. Have fun at home with games, movies, or whatever floats your boat. Learn to fix things yourself instead of always hiring someone, and use coupon codes when you shop online. Hit up thrift stores for some sweet deals, and don't forget about the library. You can borrow books and movies for free. Remember, every little bit helps when it comes to saving money and getting out of debt, so keep at it. And don't be afraid to get creative with your budgeting strategies. Living a debt-free life is the dream, right? But it's going to take some hustle and dedication to get there. So the secret sauce is creating a budget that works for you and sticking to it like glue. So there you have it. Some solid tips for living that debt-free life. Give them a shot and see what works for you. Remember, consistency is key. So keep at it and you'll be on your way to financial freedom in no time. And don't forget, knowledge is power, but it's useless without action. So get out there and make it happen. Hey, also let us know in the comments your experience and if you have any tips to tackling debt. And if you're not already a subscriber, we would love for you to become a part of our Thrifty budgeting family. So be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any videos on Thrifty budgeting. Let's connect and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.